Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. I have a lot to cover today, so please stay with me. Some very interesting news stories for you here today. So, in a significant move, um, there's been a legal development. A federal judge in San Francisco has temporarily halted the Trump administration attempt to mass fire thousands of federal employees. Judge William Alsop found that the mass firings of probationary employees were likely unlawful, they're stating, granting a temporary restraining order against the Office of Personnel Management. The judge emphasized that the agency's order was illegal and should be stopped and rescinded. Now, this ruling underscores the importance of adhering to proper legal procedures when making such sweeping employment decisions. But again, I want to know, how did President Trump allowing a lot of these mass firings, how is it illegal? Okay, without just cause, whistleblower protections. I don't know what it falls under. I'm not that privy to the information or aware of certain laws that may exist that, again, the regular public are not aware of. Now, a lot of us are for the cutting down and streamlining of government, but again, I've said this component of human beings being behind a lot of the fraud, waste, and abuse, but not necessarily being implemented, that they're actively engaging in fraud, waste, and abuse. What I'm referring to, we have allowed the government become so big and so vast that they've hired all these people who may not be doing much during the day. So again, they're trying to cut it down to a significant amount. And again, they may rehire people understanding the gravity, okay, and the large, workloads that they may have. But again, these things should be looked at very, very carefully as we are firing thousands of Americans. And again, a lot of these people who are getting fired may be your cousin, your brother, your sister, your mother, your wife, your husband, etc. So again, I think this should just die down just a bit here. Now, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has begun firing staff, continue a wave of government-wide layoffs ordered by the Trump administration. These, excuse me, these cuts have sparked outrage among scientists worldwide, and they're warning that reducing the workforce could compromise critical weather forecasting and climate monitoring services. Now, the layoffs are part of a broader effort to downsize federal agencies, but again, the people, the public, argue that such reductions could have severe consequences for public safety and environmental protections. I'm going to tell you why I understand them cutting a large portion of the NOAA. Because we have advanced technologies, we have AI, we have satellites, we have all this information, and I don't know what is a acceptable or the workload that essentially they have in receiving all this information from all these different systems. I don't know necessarily the amount of people they have at the NOAA, but again, there are some government organizations I look at and say, yeah, they can cut a couple of them down. And again, I think that a lot of the federal employees should be looking for a lot of the agencies that the Trump administration, by the way of DOGE, is not going after. Okay, again, a lot of your talents and skills can be used elsewhere in the federal government. Like, again, a lot of these law enforcement analysts, okay, data research, they need all of these people now because, again, America has always been a police state, a police country, no less, and it's only getting bigger when it comes to that magnitude because of illegal immigration. Okay, again, they are deputizing the ATF, the DEA, the IRS to go out and capture and deport illegal immigrants inside the country. So again, but when it comes to a lot of these mass firings, again, I hear the rhetoric online that somehow DEI is a euphemism for black people, or DEI is some synonymous with black people, which is totally false. Now, bear with me. This next video clip, the person is talking, in my opinion, very slow, but nonetheless, bear with me. And I want you guys to listen in on this. And then I'm going to give you guys some more information, okay? Some more information that could solidify my stance. But before we get on the DEI synonymous with black folk, I want you guys to hear from Fox News. about CIA personnel, CIA agents threatening because of firings to go and sell America's secrets to countries like Russia or people who we are not quote unquote allies with. Listen in on this craziness.
When they saw Musk with the chainsaw doging foreign aid, they started leaking to CNN. If you doge us, there will be consequences. On the CIA's seventh floor, home to top leadership, some officers are also quietly discussing how mass firings and the buyouts already offered to staff risk creating a group of disgruntled former employees who might be motivated to take what they know to a foreign intelligence service. The CIA is telling CNN that if their funding gets cut, they're going to sell state secrets to Russia. Who the hell hired these Benedict Arnolds? The CIA is supposed to be filled with patriots, not sellouts. And the FBI is up to no good, too. Michael Schellenberger is reporting a source inside the FBI says the Bureau is destroying evidence. Now we know what their accomplishments were last week.
Little fun and pun there, but this is very intriguing. Let's first talk about the CIA. He said that it's supposed to be patriots. Now, we've had people to sell secrets from the CIA before, these double spies, double agents, or whatever. And we know the term in America, everybody has a price. Is it 1 billion? Is it 2 billion? I want you guys to think about a number. I really want you guys to think about a number that a foreign country can give to you in order for you to reveal and give state secrets of America to that foreign country. And it could be any country. Okay, even countries we're allied with. There's a lot of nice countries in Europe. There's a lot of nice countries in Africa. There's a lot of nice countries. No, that's the only country in Australia because it's its own continent. But nonetheless, there's all these countries around the world I want you guys to think about, whether they friend or foe, and come up with an amount that you will sell out America for. Is it 1 billion? You can live a great life over in Greece for $1 billion. Man, you have the finest food. You can have a yacht. You can have all the things that you want. What is your price? Because at the end of the day, people who are put in a very difficult position, they're not looking at the country. They're looking at themselves. They're looking at their family. They're looking at their loved ones. How do I take care of these people if you take away my livelihood? What am I getting at? I don't have a price. I will never sell out of America. I've had secret clearances. I will never sell out of America. It's just one of those things that I just will not do. And a lot of you is given the opportunity, given the right circumstance. You have credit cards that are maxed out. Let's say, for instance, your house payments and you're close to foreclosure. Your house payments are 6 to a year behind. Your car note is behind. They're threatening to foreclose on your house. They're threatening to repo your car. Your credit cards are maxed out. Your lights are out. There is no running water in your home. You have 4 kids and a wife to take care of, or vice versa. You have, your wife is working and you're not. Whatever the case may be. Then I want you to imagine a foreign power to propose a deal. I know that you have inner working knowledge of the CIA. You have inner working knowledge of the FBI. The only thing we're asking is a couple of things that could help us to go about how we're going to run our country that's not going to be detrimental to America. And we're willing to give you $500 million. Now, usually people sell themselves out for a lot less, but I'm making the number astronomical for a lot of you who are probably teetering on one side or another, like $500 million? And I can live anywhere in the world except for America? Ooh, that's a good deal. But see, me personally, I just couldn't do it. I love America too much. Oh, how do you love America so much as a black man? Because my ancestors built this country and has made this country what it is today, where this is one of the most sought out countries in the world. Everybody wants to come to America. Everybody, either legally or illegally, because of the opportunities, because of when slaves were working for free, they created opportunities to build the juggernaut that we know in today. They have some of the most richest people in the world. And the richest people in the world still come to America to make more money. Elon Musk. So I want you guys to think about that. Because I know a lot of you like, man, you give me $100 million, I'll move over to the Caribbean. I know some of you. Man, you just give me $50 million, I'll move to the Netherlands. So again, I want you guys to think about that, because how bold are these CIA agents to leak this information to CNN? Now, me personally, I will be doing a thorough investigation of who said it, why they said it, and we should keep a watch on those people. Now, to the DEI claims that I've been touting for a very long time. Listen in on her and see what she has to say.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know,
as I told you guys, bear with her. She's a very methodical, slow speaker, but there is nuggets of information in here.
affirmative action is no longer. But whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The number one recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. Number one recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. Number two are Asian Americans. Number three are Native Americans. Number four, individuals with disability. Number five, veterans. Okay? And number six, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI initiative programs. The real
Very powerful. And again, I know some people are like, oh, that's just conjecture, that's rhetoric. And when we look at a lot of the information that have been presented, and this is not to say one group is better than another, but for such a long time, mass media has been reporting the truth, but they, in their headlines, misconstrued, or they use propaganda and clickbait in order for certain demographics of people to read it, whereas though the regular public is just going to read the title. Most people just read the title. Most people just read the title. Let me show you something right here. DEI programs benefit many groups, not just Black and brown. But what could have been a better headline for the majority of Americans to read? The majority of Americans are still white, around 65 to 70%. But what title, what headline they could have used in order for people who've come across it to read it? DEI programs benefit white Americans more than anybody else. That would have made a lot of people read it. Now, it is an intriguing question, like, well, who else does it benefit other than Black and brown? Because we just thought it was Black and Hispanic people, right? Wrong. So if you come down here, and again, I'm no friend of CNN. They have told many controversial headlines and stories about all people. I'm no friend of Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, NBC. When I get my stories, I'm gonna let you guys know, I go to a very plethora of different news sites so I can confirm that the information is correct. I even go to the Hindu Times, BBC, you name it, Reuters. I go to all these to make sure that the information I'm giving you guys is unbiased as possible. Let me carry on. So we come down here about DEI programs. Here are some other groups benefiting from DEI. White women have been one of the biggest beneficiaries of diversity programs in the workplace. It goes on to state that I think white women oftentimes don't recognize how much DEI initiative have impacted their ability to rise in leadership levels and have a more equitable playing field that they're stating. Let me tell you why this is important about non-white people getting hired. And I'm gonna generate this around black folk because I don't want to speak for any other group. I'm just going to speak to people. Okay, you guys get what I'm getting at. When we're talking about large corporations, federal, state, and public, okay, and also as private, when they are interviewing or they are looking to hire someone who is non-white, it's not like it's on the tip of their tongue, like it's almost a conscious thing. I would like to believe that this is more subconscious. People tend to hire people, one, that look like them. Yes, and you guys can do the research for yourself, that look like them. Because when someone looks like you, you automatically believe that you guys share some of the same culture. Number two, when people are getting hired, they look at how handsome or how beautiful you are. They do. People like to hire people who are beautiful, pretty, cute, who are handsome, sexy, etc. Yeah, attractive people get hired more so than ugly people, especially in certain positions, unless your skills, talents, education, and experience is just, it blows them out of the water. Like, yeah, we must have this person. And then thirdly, culture. When you are hiring someone that looks like you, that speaks the same vernacular, that has the same lexicon, that enunciate and pronunciate the words as you do, you are more inclined to hire them because you are more, they seem to be more relatable. Okay. And this is why when people speak about DEI and diversity, they just thought of like, oh, we need to hire more Black and Hispanic people because there's a bunch of white people. Well, no, as we look at these programs, okay, were implemented majority by white folk, and they're benefiting majority of white folk. So again, this was just another way to decrease the wealth gap between white men and white women, thinking that this was going to benefit non-white people, but it didn't. It benefited majority of white people than other groups later. And I get it. I do get it. So when Black people come into the workplace, we have to code switch. We have to speak with a certain vernacular so people can totally understand what we're saying. We can't like, yeah, man, we just came in here today, do the job, man. Hey, Blacklogic, how's that project going on? Well, you know, I got a couple of pieces of paper over here. This is how they believe that we speak all the time. That we speak in some sort of slang. And listen, every demographic of people speak slang. We're from one demographic, you're from another demographic. We have shared culture, you have shared culture. And when you mix them, people start to bump heads intellectually. People start to bump heads linguistically, talking about language, of how certain things are said and or pronounced. The only really thing that will combine us are aptitude tests, merit-based. Create tests for the job. Create a test. Yes, create a test that say, hey, here's a 50 multiple choice question, okay? And see how people favor. Don't let them know that there's a test. No. Right there in the interview, pop it up on the screen. Tell them to take their camera and look around their area so they can't cheat, and start asking them a question and marking it down. And then whoever does better, hire them. Because you can't test for that. A pop-up quiz on your interview. I'm just saying, I like merit-based. I try to be skillful at what I do. I try to be very knowledgeable at what I do. So you're always test ready. Oh, well, some people don't test. Well, welcome to America. We have elementary school, middle school, junior high school, high school. You're going to be taking tests for a very long time, and in college. So if you're not a good test taker, Then there's a couple of skill jobs that we have for you: plumber, electrician, underwater basket weaving, welder, underwater welder, deep sea welder. There's a lot of jobs that you guys can do if you don't test well, if you want one of these administrative jobs. I digress. I'm just trying to level the playing field. Let's not do DEI. Let's do DEI multiple choice tests. I'm just saying we got to come to a conclusion sooner or later here, do we not? Now, again, guys, I just had to point those things out for you because I don't think people are really looking at what's essentially going on. Okay. I don't think they're knowing what's going on. Now, Mexico has extradited 29 cartel members, including Rafael Caro Quintero, to the U.S. Now, he was convicted of the 1985 torture and murder of U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration agent Enrique Camara, is among those now facing charges in the U.S. federal court. This mass extradition follows the U.S. pressure on Mexico to take decisive actions against drug cartels, including threats to imposing tariffs on Mexican imports. The extraditing individual will face various charges across multiple U.S. jurisdictions, marking a significant step in bilateral efforts to combat organized crime. Again, all the pressure that President Trump, is putting on Mexico, we see how this is benefiting us. We're now getting cartel members who inflicted violence on American citizens. Now, granted, my belief as far as what Donald Trump should do with a lot of these cartel members is send them to no other than El Salvador and to that prison. Where they're just wearing kind of like pajamas and boxers and living on concrete slabs. Send them there. Don't have them in America. This is luxury in America compared to that jail. That's what they should do, in my opinion. I'm just stating. Let's move on to some money, because on the financial front, Texas is making strides in cryptocurrency, no other than Texas. So Texas has liquid gold, also known as oil. Now we have digital gold, known as cryptocurrency adoption, with the Senate Bill 21. And they're looking for other states to adopt these same methods as well. And they're proposing the establishment of a Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. And this has passed the Senate Banking Committee with a unanimous approval, and now advances to the Senate floor. Now, the bill aims to position Texas as a leader in digital asset management, potentially benefiting the public by diversifying the state investment portfolio and promoting financial innovation. If enacted, this legislation could pave the way for a broader acceptance and integration of cryptocurrency and state officials. This is probably just another way how the government can keep tabs on cryptocurrencies and tax you. Excuse me. Man, I slipped out. But nonetheless, I think this is a good move if they're not going to tax people on their cryptocurrency from the state level, because we already know how the IRS try to scapegoat their way in on taxing cryptocurrency trades, okay, when you're filing your taxes, right? When you're getting your 1099s and all your appropriate tax documents. They've been taxing people on their cryptocurrency trades and the equity that they have built in it. So again, hopefully Texas spearheading this is not doing what the federal government, by the way of the IRS, have been doing, okay? But nonetheless, it's a good thing. And this is kind of reminding me how Texas is slowly turning into California. And I hope it doesn't turn into California. And the reason why I say that, a lot of these tech companies are moving to Texas. And Texas housing, Texas economy, things are becoming more expensive. Housing is becoming more expensive. I think the only thing that has subsided is gas. I think the lowest gas that I've seen actually this morning was $2.45 a gallon, which is absolutely great. Absolutely great. But nonetheless, look for other states to do this as well. Now, a lot of those people who went out and bought those EVs, and again, I love some electric vehicles. I do not own one myself. My wife we do not own one, but I do like some of the EVs. And a lot of people were buying them for tax deductions, tax reduction, and tax benefits. But Some electric vehicle buyers are encountering issues with their tax returns this year because reports indicate that certain tax returns are being rejected due to discrepancies related to EV tax credits. And in some cases, the rejection stems from vehicle identification numbers, also known as VINs, not matching the IRS records, possibly due to dealerships not submitting the required paperwork promptly. This situation highlights the importance of ensuring all necessary documentation is accurately filed to claim eligible tax credits successfully. And my question is, why only EVs? When you guys, there's also tax credits that you can receive when you guys are filing taxes, when you are registering your car every year, when you're getting those state inspections, by the way of your registration. Some of you guys got stickers on your tag, stickers on your windshield, all these registration. You know you guys supposed to file that in your taxes as well. You can get actually tax credits from that. But I wonder why only with EVs? And again, if this is going to change because Donald Trump is a big advocate of gas and oil, but is it going to stay the same because he know his buddy Elon creates and makes electric vehicles as well? And I believe there should be tax credits on both gas and electric. Because don't forget, in order for America to generate electricity, we need fossil fuels, natural gas, oil. Yes, electricity is generated by fossil fuels. I was asking some person who was all about electricity. Oh yeah, electric vehicles. We got to stop increasing the carbon footprint of gas and oil and cows farting. Did you guys know that cows fart actually contribute to the carbon footprint in America of the atmosphere depleting? Anyway, I digress. But they were getting on this and I said, well, how is electricity generated? They were like, well, they just generate electricity. What fuel is fueling the generation of electricity? And I said, please don't tell me that you believe that America in the three major grids, because America only has 3 electrical grids. Okay, look it up for yourself. 3 major electrical grids, and go to all these little subdivisions, subgrids, etc. You think that they have all these Tesla coils, and every time there's an electrical storm, that they attract the electrical lightning, and then they store the power, and then when we need it, no, and then they charge it for the no. It takes fossil fuels to generate electricity. So again, man, we got to read. We have to read, Americans. We have to read. Now, immigration enforcement. Let me back up, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this, that the U.S. have terminated thousands of life-saving health grants for HIV and malaria. And the Trump administration, okay, and this is by the way of USAID, also known as USAID. The State Department Foreign Assistance Grants is what they're referring to. And this decision impacts numerous programs, those that are targeting HIV and malaria, and have been described by the Global Health Council as a tragedy of historic proportions. Now, the abrupt termination of these grants threatens to reverse decades of progress in combating infectious disease and providing essential health services in some of the world's most vulnerable communities. Again, this is America's way of dialing back, of giving all of this welfare to all these other countries. Now, they stated that in this report of how the stopping of a lot of these grants, and grants is money that we don't get back, only a loan, of how this is going to affect and somehow reverse a lot of the breakthroughs that we have. How? We have the information, do we not? We have the research, do we not? If someone's going to delete or burn or destroy the research like the FBI did, are we going to do that? Now, I want to know if the new FBI director, Kash Patel, is going to do an internal investigation on those FBI agents who destroyed all of this evidence. Now, I wonder, a lot of this evidence, does it have anything to do with COINTELPRO? Does it have anything to do with the Jeffrey Epstein files? or the JFK files or the MLK files or the Malcolm X files. We can keep going all down the line, or the J. Edgar Hoover files, a lot of things he was doing under the table, behind closed doors. Are we going to find that? And when I mean behind closed doors, we're talking about with the American Italian mafia. Yes. I wonder if all of those things are getting destroyed, or they're picking and choosing the things they're going to destroy. I'm just asking questions. Now, in an effort to making America safe again, the leadership of Secretary Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security, is intensifying efforts to remove violent, criminal, illegal aliens from the United States of America. And these initiatives include enforcing laws that penalize aliens in the country illegally, detaining individuals at facilities like Guantanamo Bay, and that's in Cuba, and launching ad campaigns urging illegal aliens to self-deport. These actions align with President Trump's commitment to enhancing national security and public safety by targeting individuals who pose significant threats to communities. Let me tell you what's probably going on. A lot of these pockets of illegal immigrants have somehow dissipated, and in some areas of America have disappeared. That means that there are people out there who are harboring criminals. Yeah. Because if I was a legal immigrant in America and I knew that there was nothing back in my home country, and this is the land of opportunity, first and foremost, if I know that ICE and all these adopted agencies, federal agencies that are collecting and apprehending a lot of the illegal immigrants, for quite some time, I'm going to hide out in someone's house and I'm never going to leave until things seem to die down, okay? Or I'm only going to take jobs at night, because a lot of these sting operations, some have occurred at night, but they have been at homes versus workplaces. I'm gonna find a job that works at night. Why am I giving you guys this information? Hopefully the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the NSA, the CIA, Homeland Security, Custom Borders Patrol, all these, they understand that some of these ideologies and ideas that I may have, some of these people may just be doing it. But nonetheless, I digress. We've been here for far too long. Thank you for joining me this morning. You guys have a great and wonderful Friday. This is Blacklogic.